colors
onlara
and
yaratıyor.
electrical currents,
Materyalistlerin bütün
but they don't
açıklamalarını
know that what
onlara
they are
yaratan
talking
Allah'tır. O
about
konuşmanın
has
tamamını
been
Allah onlara
created by
yaratıyor.
Allah in
Onlar onun
their
farkında
brains.
değiller.
So what
Yani
they are
isteseler
not
de
aware
istemeseler
of
böyle bir sistem
is
yaratmıştır
this
Allah.
very fact.
Mesela
Darwin, for
Darwin birisinin
example,
karşısına geçip
was
anlattığında
talking about
beynindeki
the
görüntünün
images in
içinde
his
anlatır.
brain when he
Ya bunun dışına
got
çıkamaz.
on the ship and
Yani
went
dışarıdaki
for
varlığıyla bağlantıya
observation
geçemez.
into overseas.
Mesela
He
o
could
gemiye
only
bindiği vakit
feel the ship
araştırma
as
için
he saw
gittiğinde
it
o
in his
geminin
own brain.
beynindeki
He
görüntüsünü
was
görür.
in no part
Hiçbir
of his
şekilde
history in
geminin
contact
kendisinden
with the real
karşılaşamaz.
ship he was
Bir insan
in.
mesela ben
So,
bu
I, for example, when touching this
fincanı elime
cup
aldığımda
next to me, I
beynimdeki
feel
tutma
its
duyusu
smell, I
ve bunun
feel its
görüntüsüyle muhatap oluyorum
texture
şu an
because I
beynimde.
touch it
Ve
and
bunun
I
tadıyla
feel that
muhatap oluyorum
touching
ve bunlar
sensation.
elektrik algısı olarak beynimde.
And all
Dışarıdaki
these are being
varlığını
produced by electrical
biliyorum fakat
currents.
sadece
So
onun
I am
hisleriyle
in
muhatap
no
olabiliyorum
contact
ben.
with the real
Bu
cup, but I am
çok
only
büyük bir mucizedir.
interacting with the feelings which are caused and triggered by the cup's physical existence. And only Allah knows the real cup which exists, but not me. Darwin, Marx and Lenin, these are people who have been
Mehdi ve İsa'nın
created
mücadele edebilmek
because
için özel yaratılmış
Allah
insanlardır.
wanted them to
Hazreti
fight
Musa'nın
against the
mücadele etmesi
Mahdi
için
and
Firavun
Jesus
yaratılmıştır.
Christ.
Hazreti
So
İbrahim'in
we
mücadele
can
etmesi için Nemrut
think of
yaratılmıştır.
such pairs
Hep
as
zıtlarıyla yaratılır
contradictory
bu tarz
pairs
insanlar.
because
Yani
Allah,
peygamberler
in
ve
awareness
mücadele eden
of His
insanlar,
deeds, created these two
İslam'ı yayan
contrasting
insanlar
pairs so
zıtlarıyla
as to
beraber
make them
yaratılırlar.
fight with
Aynı
one
devirde
another,
yaratırlar. Aynı
because it
zaman
is
boyutunda
only
yaratırlar.
after such a
Ve onlarla
fight
mücadele
that
etmesi
the
için
truth would
yaratılmış
emerge,
varlıklardır onlar.
in
İşte
which
şeytan da
everyone would
insanla
believe.
mücadele etmesi için
Similarly,
yaratılmış bir varlıktır.
Prophet Moses
İnsan şeytanı
was
yendiğinde,
confronted with the
onun
Pharaoh,
düşüncelerini,
and the
inançlarını
creation
yendiğinde
of
Allah'a yakın olur.
Nemrut was a similar contrasting pair. So Allah created these contrasting pairs so as to emerge the truth. In every age in the history of human beings, we can trace such contradictory forces and contrasting forces because they have been deliberately created by Allah in the same dimension and in the same time. Satan, for example, has been created so as to put him against human beings, and when the humanity will defeat Satan and the satanic forces, then the truth will emerge and peace will rule the world.
One thing to this, a non-materialistic approach would be that what is happening in our brain and what we see, these are the conditions under which we perceive everything, but this doesn't explain it. If we want to understand, we have to really understand our intellect, which cannot be fully understood by natural science. And for a metaphysical approach like that of Aristotle, for an example, we would, by our intellect, be able to, how shall I say, touch reality with our intellect, not with our eyes, not with our senses, but with our intellect. So what we perceive is not just images and feelings, but we are also in touch with reality itself.
Yes, if you look at philosophers all throughout the history, there have been many different ideas about this theory of perception of the reality. But then my argument is it is the clearest one and most easily accessible and understandable, and it cannot be rejected and it cannot be denied because you would need a proof to disprove that, but then no one could have such a proof, so it is something which we cannot object to.
Many of your books one can get for free on internet, for example. Actually all. They can be partly also, they can also bought and then they cost something, but still many people think, where does the money come from, with which you enable you to pay for all of this, the printing of the books and all these translations, etc.
Benim bu sene
up to this
16
point,
milyon
16 million copies of my books have been sold, and this year the number is approaching to 20 million copies. I don't know the exact figures
kısmının
for the
bilgisi
last
gelmedi ama
3 or
tahmin ediyorum 20
2 or
milyona
3
yaklaştı.
months. But then I know that
Ben
it
bu
is approaching
kitaplardan
20
telif
million
ücreti
copies.
almıyorum.
So
Kar
through
payı
the selling
almıyorum.
of my
Yayın
books,
evi de
I
bir hayır
receive
kar
no
ediyor bundan.
royalties, and
Tabii ki
that
tanıtım
royalty,
için
that
bir pay ayırması
profit is
gerekiyor.
left to the
Bir de
publishing
benim
house. And it is very
almadığım
normal that the
telif
publishing
ücreti
house
ve kar payını
spends
düşünürseniz
that sum of
ciddi bir
money
yakın
to
tutuyor. Bununla
commercial
ücretsiz
purposes.
kitap
And it
dağıtıyor
is
yayın
very
evi
normal
tanıtım
and
olarak.
understandable
Son
that
derece normal. Yani her şirket,
great numbers of books could
her
be
yayın
sent
evi bunu
as
yapıyor. O da
complimentary
yayın
copies
evlerinin yaptığı
because
bir
the
uygulamayı
royalties that
yerine
I do
getiriyor. O
not
kadar.
receive are a serious sum of money.
I don't have actually. I'm almost finished now with my question. We did capture all important subjects. Yes, the money was. The two last ideas was that your literature, if you consider it as being religious, and on the other hand, that many of your topics I would consider also as being very European, like Darwinism, like Freemasonry, Holocaust, and many other things. So yes, these were about the subject and talking in general, not the what the 2 or 3 questions were left. But actually, I'm very happy. But I've read enough, to be honest.
I thank you too.
And I would just one. This is the absolute final question of what did you want to with your literature to reinforce Muslims in their faith and show them that it is scientifically also valuable and proved?
My
Tabii,
publications, my
o
books and
şaşırtıcı
my
bütün
articles which
tarikatlar, bütün
I have
cemaatler,
published
her
and which
görüşteki
were
insan
read in the
tarafından
Islamic
kabul
countries
ediliyor.
bring
Bu benim
about a
kitaplarıma
very
mahsus bir
interesting
özellik.
fact because they are
Yani diğer
accepted
kitaplarda
by
böyle bir
all
özellik yok.
sects of Islam in the Islamic world. No matter what different ideas Muslim people might have, they all accept my ideas, and that's some good news for me. This
Harun
is a
Yahya
very
kitapları
good
güzel bir özelliği.
characteristic of Harun Yahya books.
Okay, thank you very much for the interview. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Ben
And
de
thank
teşekkür
you.
ederim.